Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Between You and I Bad Grammar podcast. My name is Carrie Ockery, and I'm here with my cohort, Ryan Lane. Hello, hello.
I was just about to take a cough break.
Perfect timing.
Exactly.
This is episode number 15. If you're new to the podcast, this is a podcast of conversations currently with people that I've just felt like talking to, mainly in the Northwest, but that may expand as we go on. But today's guest is Steve Fisk, legendary Northwest producer, and so much more. Steve has produced acts such as Nirvana, Soundgarden, Beat Happening, and more. His discography is huge, so I can't even begin. I'll ask him about it when we start. He has also produced my last two solo records, of which I feel very lucky, and I plan on working with him into the future. I think he's extraordinary. He's also been a part of the bands Pell Mell and Pigeon Head, and so I just thought it would be exciting to talk to him about his process and where he comes from. So here we go. Well, hey everybody, I am online. I want to, Ryan, I want to call this almost the COVID series, just because we're all at home. It is during the shelter in place in Washington State here. And with all the time on our hands, I just realized, hey, I want to do more of the podcasting. That might be really good for me. And for maybe
technology, yes,
exactly, it might be good for us to have, utilize the way meeting up anyways. So today I invited my friend and my producer, Steve Fisk, to come talk to me. And I'm excited to have you here. Thank you.
You bet. I've been thinking about the things we set out to do on purpose and the things we've ended up doing by accident. Been, sort of more of the latter.
Yes. Which is fun.
Good.
Yeah, it's all good.
No, both of them are great. Both of them are fun, but
well, I think we're both comfortable with, when recording, sort of leaving it a bit to mystery. I mean, you obviously lay an organ. My last two records, I feel like you're the other bandmate or other co-writer, because there's the songs and then the treatment of the songs, and that's you all over. And frankly, you're arranging and putting sounds in there and giving it a whole Steve Fisk treatment that takes it to a whole nother level that isn't mine. That's more yours. And I love it.
Which is so funny, because I could almost take offense at that.
Why?
Because I built this lovely car for you to ride around in. This is your car. This car does not look like me. This car looks like you.
But I love collaboration. I mean, it's part of the joy. It's part of the joy to like.
And it's so nice of you to say that. Thank you very much.
Of course,
I appreciate that. I love being able to work with great singers. I'm very spoiled. There are so many great singers coming, and I'm a guy that doesn't write lyrics, and I haven't even written a bridge, and yet, Chris Cornell, Mark Lanigan, Calvin Johnson, Kurt Cobain, Carrie Ackery, Sean Smith. I could just keep going, the sins of omission, but as long as we're just calling it all out here, for me, I just got used to like the singer being able to totally do what they're supposed to do. And I didn't have to produce it, and they just put up the mic. Now I know the vocals were happening. So.
Well, you have an ear for it. I love. I was gonna recount. I was actually talking to Kim Virant the other day, and I think she was reminding me. I think it was Kim or my friend Heather was reminding me about the article where this is how we kind of hooked up, is you mentioned, someone was asking you like, well, who haven't you worked with yet that you want to work with? And you had mentioned my name, and I was extremely flattered. And I think I immediately called you like, yes, please.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like this, that would be a yes. Yes, anytime now. And we've been making records since then, and we are planning. We have a couple projects, and my plan is to. I like the idea of having our partnership going forward.
Me too.
Yeah, right. Because I think we both really prize and definitely at this time really appreciate um, being with people, one who are good at what they do, but who understand and I want to say really deeply love artistry, right? Or allowing the artist or supporting artistry as opposed to the rest of the crap that goes on in music.
The rest of the crap is why people get involved in this, or
Yeah.
is why a lot of the people get involved in this. And so God bless them. And I hope they make a lot of money and sell a lot of records. And at the risk of sounding like a Republican, it raises all the boats in the harbor when there's a healthy pop music scene and records are being sold.
Yeah.
But I at the age 65, I'm just shocked when I look back at how little I was concerned about making money here and here and here and here, and so for me not to paint myself out as something I'm not. I care about making money, and we're all broke right now with world ending and all of that. But for me, it's always just been fun to make a record happen and to make cool music and to make something that somebody else digs.
Right.
And for me, that's never gotten old. Somebody saying, "Oh, I just heard that thing you did. It's amazing." And
Right.
it's maybe something I produced or played on or something I supposed to did. So I don't want to take credit for things somebody else wrote and sang and all this other stuff. But it was like just the other day I was getting some people, just chimed in. I had no idea that record existed. I love that. That's amazing. It was like some 8-year-old record by somebody great, and
Right.
So for me, it's a good thing. I'm just trying to say it's natural for me not to want to make money. It's natural for me to focus on let's make a good song. It's natural for me to want the singer to feel good about what's going on. It's natural for me to want the musicians involved to be stoked in the studio. I think that gets recorded, when people are actually inspired, and then having a good time and all of that. So for me, I have these very stupid things that I just ingested as part of my shtick. And it's so weird, because I meet some, avarice young canine record producer, with pronounced teeth that wants to go and, make a record to build a battering ram to knock down a door to buy a boat,
Right.
And that's a fine thing too. But I have so little in common with that guy, and he's a good guy or woman or whatever. But yeah, I just never really, I just was always so happy to just get involved and be involved in this whole thing that the avarice of it never really occurred to me,
Well, I got to say, like, you are a really good example for me, a very timely, at this time in my life, example of someone who loves what they do, always has, and your work has been based on what you love to do, even if it was like, an up and down road, like any career in anywhere could be. But that you being someone who does your artwork and continues to do your artwork is something I personally need, because that's what I'm returning to in a much deeper way for myself. Like, I'm changing my life in order to go there again, because I think that's how you should live. And there's no shame in money. We all like money. It may come or go, right?
Yeah, but no, I'm not trying to talk money down.
Right.
Fine.
But you've done work that you love to do, and I say that in comparison of like, instead of going, well, I'm going to put it down and go do corporate work, which there's no shame in that either. But I personally have felt the difference, right? For me, it has been a step away from myself, and I am very aware of the hole that has created in me as a person. And so, and I value is what I'm saying. I value doing work that you love so much deeper, and think it requires courage right now to return to that. So you're my example of someone who's your work has been what you like to do. You know what I mean?
I've been very lucky. You know, this business has pushed a lot of people out. You know,
Yeah.
so even before this last big kick in the stomach, I was still like, just like, oh my God, it's like I didn't mean to be the last guy on deck, but there's just so many of these people that, and I understand the healthiness of quitting, quit a few times.
Right.
No, I took an award and threw it in the bay. It was a real life thing. Like, I'm done with this shit, and me and my girlfriend, we walked down to the harbor and I threw in my award and it wouldn't stay. So it kind of just went out to sea.
That was a sign. It was a total sign.
Which
Like,
award,
okay. Yeah, what was that? What was the award?
It was NAMA. Do you remember NAMA?
Yes.
Hey, you see? Gray hair. Otherwise, NAMA doesn't matter. No one remembers NAMA. NAMA was a very wonderful, greedy organization that was inviting everyone else to the party that was happening organically up here. God bless them.
Yeah.
And,
I think it's healthy, though, to have a quit moment, though. Several quit moments. It's only human, right? Just say, I've had enough. You can like take a break,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's maybe a natural thing to do. Doesn't mean it's really the end sometimes, but who wouldn't?
Sometimes it's the right beginning. Yeah, I mean, you got to stop to start new stuff usually.
Well, and let's say my initial career move was to leave Los Angeles and move to a small town in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So I've been quitting since I was 19.
Right. Which leads me to you and I have talked about your history, your path up into the Northwest, but I would love it if you would share, because I don't think, Ryan or anybody listening hasn't heard. I always find it fascinating, I mean, you came up from California into, like, you're right, like Ellensburg, or you tell the story of where things began for you and your moves, which have led you up to here, if you don't mind.
No, I get asked to do that sometimes. Unbeknownst to many people, perhaps unbeknownst to you even, Carrie, my family helped settle the Kittitas Valley.
Oh, I did not know that.
We have an unfortunately named river named after a character named Whiskey Dick.
No way.
And so we have the Whiskey Dick River, and I don't know what else we have, but my great cousin on my mother's side, John Stauffer, started the Whiskey Dick Sheep Ranch.
Whoa.
If you drive into Ellensburg from the Tri-City side, that's that terrible smell, which isn't the sheep ranch anymore. It's the beef rendering plant that's on top of the sheep ranch that was started by my cousin, John Stauffer.
Wow.
So,
I know that smell. Yes.
Yeah. It's a good smell.
So,
right. I'm a Tri-Cities girl. I come from Kennewick. I know that path.
Yeah, exactly. That's not the best way to meet Ellensburg. That's not her good sign. First off, you're coming through Yakima, which is never a great way to see.
Or Vantage if you're coming from Richland, right? Either way. And then if it's windy, good Lord.
Did you take a moment to look at that ridiculous movie I sent you? That was one of the links.
Yes, I think so.
No, there's a full hour and 20-minute film that was shot in Vantage with me in the Screaming Trees.
Oh. Yes, I did. And I kept looking. I'm like, is that Mark Lanigan? Is that like, because you guys are so young. So young.
Yes, very young.
All right. Well, back to the family. Back to okay. So
anyway, that's Vantage, as long as we're describing things that people can see here in a podcast. But the point was, I've been to Ellensburg at least twice on family vacations, and Mount Rainier as well. So this was always a place that we went on long, complicated car vacations. And I have a good friend who might be listening. His name is Mike Donahoe. He's in Vienna, but we went to junior high and high school together in Paramount, California. And he started a loony cult in Ellensburg. And it wasn't really a loony cult, but it was kind of proto-slacking. We didn't have a name for it back then, but he was the first guy to Ellensburg, and then I think Ed came up, and then Ralph, and then Dave, and then I came up, and we basically lived in Ellensburg and had shitty part-time jobs and played in bands or did karate or whatever else you would do
Now, who are those people? Who's all those people?
Who are those guys?
Who are those guys?
Those are wonderful people that are just my good friends that thank God to Facebook. Other people might know who they are because they're all over my Facebook page.
Nice.
But there's Ralph Shannon McConkey because he and his wife share a Facebook page, and they live back in Ellensburg, and they were my good friends and roommates in that world. And then Mike Donahoe, who, God, we could really get deep on this, but Mike was like way too smart for high school and moved away to Ellensburg and lived there for a long time, and then got serious about karate and then moved to Vienna because his dojo was based in Vienna. There he went to work for the United Nations. And before he retired, he was the guy that when they had to pick up Kofi Annan from the airport and take him to the CNN studio in Vienna, he was the UN guy in the blue seared jacket that would meet the guy, and take him there and wait for. Anyway, so this is a stoner friend of mine from Paramount, California. Ended up in the upper bowels of the United Nations. That's Mike Donahoe. My good friend Dave is in restaurants, Dave Wells, and he's in Phoenix. And we've lost track of Ed.
All right. Maybe he'll find us.
Yeah, we did have a band. I'm not going to tell you the name.
Okay.
Because it was a terrible name. But anyway, yeah, those are the guys I grew up with, and we shared records and taste and the ennui of the... It was...
in California, right?
In California, yeah. It was sort of like... what was the great Slacker movie that starts with Sweet Emotion?
Oh, no.
It's a Linklater film. Everybody's in it.
I have to go look. Ryan's going to look right now.
Anyway, this was like a terrible version of the what that movie was based on. Terrible bell-bottom jeans and Southern California and football teams. And
you mean the movie Slacker?
Yes, that might be the movie Slacker.
Probably just the name that it is.
Aptly titled. That's what I thought at first, but I was like, it can't be that obvious. Yes.
That's 65. You paint with a broad brush.
Good enough.
But anyway, yeah, that was my posses. Thank you for making me name check them because I love them still. They're wonderful people.
Yeah, that's awesome. But when you told me, I guess I didn't realize that you'd moved up from California, and you were doing stuff in California already musically, right?
I had some brushes with fame. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was trying to make original music because I thought that was what people did instead of playing other people's music, because that's all you do as a keyboard player. You get invited to play other people's music. So I was very, very confused. Didn't have a brain in my motherfucking head. But because California, as big as it is, there's still lots of people trying to do stuff. So I ended up doing some weird experimental K-hole music with Dave Allen.
Oh, wow.
Dave Alvin, from the Blasters. And,
oh, wow.
And all that other shit. Yeah, just because I had a synthesizer, so I got to meet people,
Yeah.
And so I got to do interesting stuff. So I did some shit with him. I was in a proto metal kind of thing with George from Dawkins, George Lynch from Dawkins.
Wow.
And Dave Pahoa from the Plimsolls was my friend in high school.
Yeah, no way.
Bass player in the Plimsolls, yes. And I believe Ramirez was the original drummer, who was another friend of mine from back then.
See, that was like a whole piece of history when you were talking. I was like, what? Like, wait a minute. And how old were you then?
Well, I wasn't 21.
Right.
I was old. I looked old for my age, so I was playing in bars when I was 17, 18.
But you were in your teens. That's what I always thought too. I was like, oh wow, you were into it like in your teens.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
If I would have stayed, it would have been terrible.
You think so?
Oh, sure. Well, I got a studio gig bringing my synthesizer in so people could play with that and use it all day for overdubs. And it was in Sound City, in the same room where Teen Spirit was recorded, and all this other crap. But the point of it is that I could have got myself into a cocaine lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
In 1974, 75, when people didn't even know it was bad for you.
Oh, my God.
So I'd be living at home, driving into Hollywood, getting more and more addicted to coke, wondering where the money was. By 1978, things would have been really bad. It would have been another chapter of Boogie Nights. Oh,
my God. I was just thinking about that movie. I don't know why. It's funny. Okay, yeah.
Me too.
But instead, yeah, right.
Today's movie day, Slacker to Boogie Nights.
Yes.
Followed by Singles, followed by...
Oh, my God. That could really trigger a lot of things all over the place, though.
Yeah.
I have to choose my movies carefully so that I don't go fall into some emotional hole. But so you didn't stay there, though. Like at some point you're like, oh, I'm going to Ellensburg.
I got more interested in finishing my college studies, and I learned about the Evergreen State College and the amazing facilities they had there. And more than that, I met my next, set of knuckleheads, which were all these Olympia people that, we had a interlocking musical ethos and aesthetics and all of that. So
yeah,
I met them and we moved to Evergreen and studied composition for a few years, but also got involved in the radio station. And through that, I got involved in independent music and all the wonderful things that were happening in independent music in 79, 80, 81. And,
was the radio station Chaos? Steve, was it Chaos? Is that?
KAOS Olympia, yes.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
And that crew, as long as we're name checking everybody today, I'll miss everyone.
Yeah.
George Romancic, John Foster, Dave Rao, Tony Home, Calvin Johnson, Bruce Pavitt,
Right.
And then the next generation was, Goodmanson and Stuart Hallerman and Adam Casper and all these other people that came out of it, like later on. So there was a rich music. And then Diana Aarons and Al Larson and Arrington Dionysa and Mira. And,
Well, even when I started, there's a whole Evergreen Olympia faction. I mean, Evergreen, let's just say, I know so many people went to Evergreen. So just as a college, as a hub, and for those who don't know, Evergreen was I don't know what you would call Evergreen. I mean, they're great. What was it like?
It was a free school. There were many free schools in the U.S. Evergreen was probably the best funded because it was a state institution. But there was Franconia and Fairhaven and the one in Yellow Springs that I always forget about that Andy from the Gits went to.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but there was another big deal falling apart free school, and they were all dying probably about 75, 76. Evergreen lasted, but the rest of them were gone. Well, and then the idea was there was no grades. So this was the 70s idea. There's no grades. You wrote evaluations of people, which that doesn't work at all. because you immediately want to keep working at the school, so you're going to say nice things about what you did, nice things about what you learned, and specifically nice things about the person that you took the class from. And he or she wants to hang on to their job. So the last thing they're going to do is say, well, this was a waste of my semester, and this dude didn't learn anything. And, you're never going to say that.
You could create your own degree there, too, if I remember correctly. You could invent a degree.
Exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. Yes.
I think that's amazing. I mean, Danny Newcomb and Garth Reeves, both people who played in my band Goodness, came from Evergreen, as well as Timo Ellis I met there. There's a ton of people that I know, musicians that I know, who all went to Evergreen. There was a huge faction of people who just are, play a huge part in the creative scene. And I mean, Riot Girl and Calvin Johnson, that whole beat happening, and that whole scene was there as well, or with, right? And you were right in the middle of that.
So many different people were attracted there for so many different reasons. That's the weirdest thing. It wasn't just hi, I'm going to move there and try to get my band on K and play, for the Frumpies. There was a little of that, but then because the school is a very serious school, it still is, but you could go there and study publishing. You could go there and study environmental this and that. You could go there and study canoe building and do Native American studies like white people like to do in the 70s and the 80s. Maybe they still do.
They might.
I work with an Indian now, so I'm always embarrassed about
when you say something
about all the Indian shit that goes on at Evergreen, because it is really entitled white guys that found an Indian that taught him how to make a canoe and taught him how to build this and taught him how to do. I feel sorry for that. Real sorry for that Indian that he had to put up with those Evergreeners.
Oh my God, right? Well, Olympia is such a weird amalgamation of things. You've got Evergreen, then you've got, a music scene, and then you've got the capital, Washington State's capital there, and then a huge right faction, right? Like it's conservative with like the most experimental liberal people. It's a mishmash. It's amazing. And it's small. Like Olympia as a town is, especially then, was really small, which can either make it like really fun because it's a free for all, right? You've got all those elements and it's not expensive. It's you could really work your magic and create things and start something new within all of that. But it's still a weird mixture of super conservative and super liberal, right? Like,
people hitchhiked back then a lot. And and people got beat up all the time because people would go out looking to pick up greeners just to beat the fuck out, throw them out of their car.
Right.
And it was the same crap as like, oh, God bless. But it's the same shit now. It's like this is imagined redneck entitlement that like that school's out there. They took our jobs. That's our money paying for that school. Yeah. Inviting some fucking kid from Boston to come out there and he can play guitar and smoke clove cigarettes. Yeah, I'm going to beat that motherfucker up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stuff this spotted owl in his mouth.
Right.
That goddamn
oh, God.
owl. That's
the spotted owl. Yes. That was a whole period in Washington State, too, protecting the spotted owl.
About all the Vietnamese moved into my neighborhood. Because that was going on then, too. So the redneck thing was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
yeah. Well, you take somebody who doesn't understand, it certainly is going to open up to somebody trying something new. I mean, coming from the Tri-Cities, there was a lot of that as well. And it's just an automatic, if you got one side, I'd say like the conservative side, just going, I don't get it. I beat it up. And I'm not going to even even if you don't agree, sit back and go, okay, well, let me understand. Like, what are you interested in or whatever? I'm just going to think you're a jerk and threatening me some way. And so,
you must have had the Klan growing up over there, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
They had them in Ellensburg. They were trying to recruit in Ellensburg.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, we had the Hanford site, so it was like,
well, you had
it's farmers too.
But you had a big government presence, and so that might have. But that's we can get deep into this, or we can just move past it. But the Nazi thing that was in Idaho. And they were up here specifically because you could identify white populations. Right. And so Eastern Washington was hella white, and they saw that as a place that they could recruit. And they specifically sent a guy to Ellensburg, and he worked as a bouncer for 3 months at the local Quonset hut, bar, the college kids, all that. And then he started hosting barbecues on Sunday. Where people,
oh, that's so creepy.
Oh, and then they'd have guys out in the suits with bullhorns reading the shit and trying to get kids to join the Klan.
Jeez.
That's a lot of effort for some white power right there and racism. Like I'm more scared if someone's organized and working hard for it. Like there seems to be, they're really not going to stop. They're really into it. Now they're consumed by the working of growing it. And so there'll be no stopping to think about it. Like that's way scarier to me.
Yeah, well, it turns into like a social group, and it's not even about maybe what the cause. It's just a bunch of
I want to do the meeting. We could have a picnic. Men like barbecue. We'll have a barbecue.
Right? Exactly.
On Sundays. Yes, that'll be lovely. We'll have a barbecue on Sunday.
I mean, who doesn't want a Sunday barbecue that's full of
What's
anger?
What's the budget? What are we going to spend?
Oh my God. Angry barbecues.
How much are we going to spend on napkins? How much are we going to spend on disposable cups?
Right, if you think about it. Well, okay, back to Olympia though. So you go to Evergreen, you're working on all this stuff. You're meeting and playing, music. You're with all these people. How did you end up working like with Beat Happening and all of that? Because there was Slim Moon there too yet, or
no,
Slim not yet. Okay,
in Montana, and probably would have been 11 when I moved to Evergreen. That's how early all of this goes. Calvin, on the other hand, was 15 and was a radio DJ at Chaos back then.
He was 15.
Wow.
Yes,
I didn't realize that. Okay.
And we were all very proud, us 25 to 30-year-old punk rockers, if you could even be that at age 25 in 1979. Very proud to have a real live kid running a punk rock radio show. And it just, it was like he was our brand. There it is.
Oh, interesting.
It's in action, Yeah. And he brought his young friend up. Oh, Lois. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you, Lois.
Exactly.
And Heather from Beat Happening, she was hanging out there. She was doing shows,
Yeah. Well, how did you end up? How long did it take before you were producing? Because you produced like Beat Happening Records, Calvin's band.
I produced the Cool Rays, or I co-produced the Cool Rays. Drew Canulet? Did you ever meet Drew Canulet?
I don't think so.
Canulet. I'll pronounce his name correctly. He's French.
Canulet.
He ran Dogfish Audio in Portland. Probably still does. We worked on Soundgarden stuff together, and he mixed a Pell Mell reissue. And he's another evergreener from back then, and another good friend of mine from that whole posse. And he and I worked on the Cool Rays together at the Evergreen State College. So Calvin had a band when he was 16.
Yeah.
And he was dancing exactly the same way when he was 16, that kind of Nancy Sinatra, the one foot in the other, and all this other crazy shit. So when you have an independent record label, you have to make a jacket. And there's a blank space on the jacket where it says produced by or engineered by. And so that's when they started calling me a producer. And I said, I'm not a producer. What do you mean? Oh, yes, you are.
You are now.
And then, so what did you do? Well, I did this. Yeah, you produced the record. So had I realized the company that would put me in, I might have held back on the word a little bit because there's some loony people called those record producers. But I produced the Beakers. I produced the Max Band. I produced West Side Lockers. And probably about 4 other like rock projects, while I was at some of the stuff was in Seattle. Actually, some of the stuff was at Reciprocal, which,
Oh, yeah.
Back when it was Triangle, I got to work up there in the old incarnation of that place as well.
Oh, we got to get to that place too, because so many people have recorded there, including myself. Yeah. Well, so where does Pell Mell fit into this timeline? So you're an evergreen.
I'm the world's biggest Pell Mell fan at that point. Bruce Pavitt is their manager.
Okay. And for those who don't know, Bruce Pavitt is one of the duo that started Sub Pop Records.
Yes.
In case you don't know.
I know, that's interesting. And if I just use that word like everybody knows that with mustard you get ketchup. Sub Pop you get Bruce Pavitt, Jonathan. But yeah. No, after everybody or all around me was telling me Pell Mell was the best band in the universe, I said no for about 9 months, and then I said, "Nah, you're right. They're the best band." Yeah, especially because there were no vocals. God bless vocals, but the instrumental thing and the way they approached it in 1980 was very, very unique. And
was Pell Mell in Olympia or was it
Portland?
Portland. Okay. So you're are you in Oli at this time and you're producing, and then you join Pell Mell?
I mixed their live record. They did a live record, and that's when I broached the subject of me joining the band. Their 4th member had quit. They'd done a live record, and it was an interesting live record as a 3-piece. And kind of when the project was over with, we were driving around, and I said, "Can we talk for a minute?" And I said, "I would love to join this band if you ever added a 4th person, back. I like what it sounds like now, but if you added," and they actually had already talked about adding a 4th person back and not adding a guitar player and trying to do something different. And they'd actually already talked about approaching me.
Oh, cool.
Because they knew my stuff, because I was on the first Sub Pop cassette. So they knew,
See?
Do people know that? People don't know that.
I don't know that. Yeah, like on the first cassette.
I believe, am I the first, second, or third track on the very first Sub Pop cassette? Sub Pop 5.
My gosh.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was all on that? You and who else on the first?
And Pell Mell, and I think Jungle Nausea, and Jason, and the Nashville Scorchers before they got signed as Jason and the Scorchers. Half Japanese in some form or another. An early version of a Calvin Johnson band. But I'm name checking all the local stuff. That was the whole point of Sub Pop. It was regional indie music from second cities across America.
Yeah.
So there were people from Kansas, Pylon. I think Pylon was on the first cassette. Does anybody know who Pylon is? Does anybody remember Pylon? Pylon are wonderful.
Does anybody remember?
Does anybody out there remember Pylon? If Sonic Youth met the B-52s, you'd get Pylon.
Whoa.
Yeah, that sound like fun?
I'm going to have to dig up some of their stuff. Yeah.
The guitar players passed, and they actually have they're from Athens, right? They're Southerners. They have the Pylon Reenactment Society.
Right.
So most of the original members and extra people, and they go around and they tour and they play Pylon songs. So
cool.
You can hear Pylon whenever you want to. It's wonderful.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So all this is going on. You've joined Pell Mell. When do you decide to go to Ellensburg? Is that next?
No.
Okay.
I was finishing up Evergreen and was now slacking officially, hanging out in Olympia, and a bunch of shit fell apart. And so I joined Pell Mell in the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
Part of their short-lived Bay Area incarnation, because they thought they'd done everything they could do in Portland, and so they moved to Berkeley, actually. And I moved down, I think, about 6-8 months later.
Okay.
And joined the band, and we rehearsed in Berkeley, and I think we did a couple Crescent-y tours, where you go from San Francisco down to L.A. or San Francisco up to Seattle or whatever. And Vancouver, we played Canada a couple of times. So we had a small live career, 84, 85, 86 maybe. Yeah.
Nice.
And we broke up, and then I moved back to Ellensburg, because I moved to Ellensburg originally right out of my college bar band nonsense in 75.
Oh, so, right.
So I had 3 years there, moved to Evergreen, moved to Bay Area to try to, that was my thing. If this doesn't work, I'm going to get a day job, join Pell Mell thing, right? And then that blew up, and I moved back to Ellensburg and tried to start working with my friend Sam Albright, who was another posse I have to check here. Sam Albright was the guy I played in bands with all through my time in Ellensburg, and made all kinds of weird high concept stuff that involved sculpture and dancers.
Wow.
And all kinds of John Cagey, Merce Cunningham-y wannabe kind of stuff. And he and I actually did some punk rock shit like that. He had a gallery in Seattle in 79, 80, 81. And he kept doing crazy stuff over there. So
That's cool.
Sam and I did a lot of weird shit together. And Sam will show up later in the story. That's why I name check him here. But he built that studio, which is the studio that the Screaming Trees did all their shit at, or Verse 3.5 Records or whatever, and 2 Beat Happening Records, and the Girl Trouble record, and
oh wow,
Danger Bunny record, Danger Mouse record, Chemistry Set record. Cadillac came over, had the nerve to record in Ellensburg, did a Chemistry Set record over there.
That name, I remember that name. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tacoma bands, some cool Tacoma bands.
Yeah.
Was it Alphabet Swill?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, Clint from Seaweed was in Alphabet Swill.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very young when he was 15. And then once again, I'm always recording people and they're 15, 16, 17. I don't know. I know that sounds creepy, but that seems to be a life path. Is it like, oh no, you stand over there. Hang on, this work. Put on the headphones.
How lucky.
Yeah.
It's like musicians at their purest form. They're just young and fresh, full of.
And they want to record. I just did this record. I mean, we're jumping way ahead, but there's this really cool kid from Ogden, Sammy Brew, who's actually signed and does these he does very high production country records, but he's got a scrappy band, and most of them were, way under 21. And we actually did a record the day that the kids all did that walkout after Parkland. When all the kids all over America were taking the day off, these guys were recording these sort of kid positive, crazy songs, and it was like 17-year-olds, on this. Anyway, it was a very inspiring thing to do. And Sammy Brew's very cool, and I don't mean to say shitty things about his produced records, because they're 2019, 2020. People make produced records. So he makes produced records, but I got to make a really crazy, scrappy record with it. It was a lot of fun.
Well, how crazy lucky for somebody at 15 to get to a situation where you're with you as a producer and getting to record. I'm like, what the hell was I doing at 15? I was, not that I'm a good example, but yeah, exactly. But I'm like so lucky to have a studio around, a great producer, and at that young age that's just, I always envy people who are like start younger or get the ability to, have something in their city or town where it was available. Like I always say, the Tri-Cities, somebody, if people ask me like, oh, were you ever in bands in Tri-Cities? I was like, no. I mean, if you weren't into hardcore punk, I think there were like cover bands who, at bars, but it just never crossed my mind because it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Well, and I was from Los Angeles, so imagine the things I was ignoring,
Right.
and the things that I thought was important that weren't important at all. This transitions easily into talking about Mark Pickerel for a second.
Right. Well, leading into
Mark Pickerel, drummer for the Screaming Trees, wrote me a fan letter when I was living in Oakland.
Yeah.
And so, because he'd heard my first 45 that I did in Olympia. And so when I moved back to Ellensburg, I said, oh, where's this crazy kid with the band? And that's, they said, oh, he's over at the video store. Of course, that's the video store that the Screaming Trees parents owned. Well, the Screaming Trees worked at. The Screaming Trees had the rehearsal in the back room and all this shit. So I went and met Mark and then met the Screaming Trees kind of all in an evening.
Wow.
And
I love that because it just, your story, like, just because we've had this conversation, like way back when I got a letter from this kid, and then, like years later, it just gives me faith in like synchronicity too. And like, just wait, give life like a minute, something will connect you to something. And it's always kind of magical to me. Anyways, that's really cool.
Yes, but no.
Why?
Pickerel had nerve. And so he said,
well, yeah,
I want to tell this guy I like his record. I want to tell him about my band too.
Sure.
And so we made that first cassette together. Other Worlds became a record after that. And he went to Seattle and saw Black Flag and gave it to the guitar player in Black Flag. And that's how the Screaming Trees got an SST. Because Mark Pickerel was like, check me out. I'm Mark Pickerel. Check out my band. I'm Mark Pickerel. I'm 15. I'm 16. I'm 17. Check me out.
I would go farther to say it's still synchronicity because like you put yourself in the flow of like music and art. You're going to attract people who are like, look at me. I want you, or give me that.
Yeah.
It helps be good too. Yeah. Because a lot of people are out there saying, like, "I listened to my demo," and you're like, "Oh, this is terrible."
Mark Pickerel's very good. Screaming Trees are very, very good.
So when you got to Ellensburg, like, who are all the people then you end up working with there? Screaming Trees being one of them. But like, you did a whole bunch of like producing there.
Yeah, well, and that's the beautiful thing about being a recording studio in the middle of nowhere. You record everything. So does anybody that wants the services of a recording studio comes walking in there. So it's it was a job, and there were some things that were more like, oh, I have to record this person and I hope they don't start crying. I have to record this person and I hope they don't steal anything. I have to record this person and I have to figure out what I'm going to do at 2:00 in the morning when their horrible song is stuck in my head.
Life of a producer.
Or life of an engineer.
Oh, okay.
Because I was an engineer and the studio got hired and I just got paid to keep my mouth shut and follow the orders of whoever was doing it. I wasn't Steve Fisk. Nobody knew who Steve Fisk was.
What years was this? What years?
85, 86, 87, 88.
Okay.
86. There was no overlap there. I think I got to Ellensburg by 86. It might have been the end of 85. Might have been
okay. But that's a pretty normal path, right? For somebody to go into play like assist engineer and then.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's great. I learned so much. It helped me. I would have never learned much about acoustic guitars recording rock bands, but because I recorded all this folk stuff, I figured out my crazy stuff and then the normal stuff too. And
is that where you, Steve? Do you think as an engineer that's where you cut your teeth on like mic placement, equipment?
And that's where Sam Albright comes in too, because Sam knew all of this stuff ahead of time. And what he didn't know, he learned from Peter Carl, who was the other engineer there before I left. And so he was very, very free with his knowledge and told me everything that I should have learned at Evergreen. It was too late. I had already graduated and I was in Ellensburg. So that was the other thing too, is at Evergreen, I'd never studied, or somebody got called a record producer. I never had any audio classes. I had composition classes.
Oh, right. Interesting.
Shit,
Well, I feel like all the engineers, well, not all of them, but a lot of the engineers I know, it's from like just hands-on. Like it's not like they went to school. They don't have a degree, like some people can get, degrees or associate, degrees. But most of the people I know were like, I just wanted to work there. I started as an intern and worked my way up.
And I thought I'd be doing this, but I ended up doing that,
Yeah.
Oh no, that's that Tape Pop magazine. I love the Tape Pop magazine. I don't need to get to endorse something here, but it's free. Yeah. You can see it online, but they'll still send you the paper version, tapeop.com.
Yeah.
And they're, lots and lots of great stories about how people got through the hook,
Right.
So
you did a whole, there's so much work you did there. Would you say
Calvin brought a bunch of bands over. That was part of it too.
Oh, did he?
Calvin brought Girl Trouble over.
Oh,
Calvin
right
brought
on.
Some Velvet Sidewalk over. Calvin was co-producing at that point. He didn't want to see his name on the record, but Calvin made records happen there. So
right on.
Besides the Beat Happening record, there was a lot of other K catalog that were just things that he wanted to make happen in Ellensburg because he thought it was a cool place to work.
Well, that's awesome. Now, what made you go from there to Seattle? What was the impetus to go to Seattle?
My girlfriend at the time was a serious painter, and she was from Winthrop. Oh,
yes. Very pretty.
Yeah, it's very pretty. It's the middle of nowhere. It's still the middle of nowhere.
You still can't quite get out of there.
Yeah. And so Ellensburg was a bigger town, but she wanted to be she was really into Anselm Kiefer. Anselm Kiefer, a wonderful modern German expressionist guy that did gigantic canvases that had collage elements that were very, very ambitious work. And so she was doing really wild, crazy, big stuff and gave up on it. God bless her. She's doing some other stuff now. But she wanted to move to Seattle. And so we moved to Seattle. And for me, it was like, no. All my friends moved there. They've got shitty jobs testing video games for Microsoft. There's an old Jamaican song, knife, a fork, a bottle, and a cork, New York.
New York.
That Seattle was always too easy. There was too much money being made up here. Everybody's too happy. Everybody's too wealthy. That's where the word yuppie came from. It's like, no, Seattle, no. And it was like, 1989. No, I don't want to go to Seattle. A horrible place for music. I'll hate it.
So you got dragged there by a lady. That's nice.
Yeah.
Is that when you guys lived above, what's the cafe we always talk about? Cyclops?
Cyclops. Actually, I lived directly next door to Cyclops.
Okay, yeah. There was a whole...
at the same size space. Exactly the same size space as Cyclops. One space.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
When you could, right? When you could, 89 or prior to that.
$300 a month.
Yeah, nobody wanted to live there in 89. So,
no.
That's a
bonus. So much of Seattle, the warehouse area, everything that is the Google, Amazon corridor or whatever was nothing but warehouses and cheap rent everywhere. I moved to Seattle in 85 to go to school. So I went to the UW and then got into bands. So 89. So Hammerbuck started in 89 and, cheap rent. Oh my God, $300 apartments, you know what I mean? Which is why it makes it, a reason to never go there again right now. It's not the Seattle that we're talking about right now.
I mean, that's what helped the creative movement though at the time. It was cheap. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of cool stuff going on. It's just fostered that
space to
movement.
Breathe.
Yeah.
A fecund environment.
Well, I think the thing too is on the one hand, people could say nobody would come here and, play shows. And I'm like, yeah, that's the best time to make things is when nobody's looking and you're mad about it. Or, there's a lot of things are made out of angst and bitterness, but you're right. It was affordable. I could be a barista and be in a band and have an apartment, or work in a restaurant. And it was also movable. You could navigate the city on foot, or bikes easily. I mean, I would just remember having experienced, lived in, participated in all parts of the city. Right. And you'd kind of, I think at that age too, you'd want to seek out the place that nobody else goes to. I had a circle of friends who were way into for real taverns where, it's, we're guys who actually older men who actually are alcoholics are hanging out. And there's a pool table. That was a cool thing. I want to go find the spot that no one's going to.
Gotta find the worst dive bar. Yeah, for sure.
The worst dive bar.
Some place where livers go to die.
Yeah, exactly. But when you're 21, 22, whatever, 23, you're just, you don't think you're going to, your liver can take it at the time, I guess. And there was like the night, I mean, there's still the nightlife, but all that stuff, but all the bars but you could, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't crowded.
Mm-hmm.
You could walk the city and then you'd have places that you hung out. Like I've lived all over the city, but there was sort of a Capitol Hill time for me. And then there was Pioneer Square, and Pioneer Square, you hung out in Pioneer Square, but Western. So I'd end up at the Cyclops because it was a cool,
right.
And nobody had any money. So you could have a cup of coffee for 4 hours and nobody would like yell at you because you're like, I can only afford this and the funky
Because
healthy salad.
The people that ran that restaurant, they're just like me. They weren't, they were just happy to be having a place with the door open and
yeah.
They're still there. They're making money now. That's Cyclops. They're up on First now.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, they're still around.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They've got the Ace Hotel like upstairs or whatever now.
Which used to be the bum hotel.
Yeah.
It brought all the the homeless people, the disenfranchised people. I'm sorry, bum maybe doesn't work anymore.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, now it's like a highbrow art hotel converted.
Yes.
So. No, that one corner down there, it had our building that was a half-assed artist cooperative with the Cyclops downstairs. The Mission, which drew people from all over the city, even after it closed, it still kept drawing people on autopilot.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
And then Nasty Mix Records was right there. Nasty Mix Records was in that office right off of that pea-stained alley.
Yes.
God, all kinds of shit was going on. I mean, that was all just in spitting distance. And then Sub Pop was around the corner,
Right.
And, so yeah. It
so
was
much fun.
Well, the point of it was I could go have lunch at the Cyclops and I could tell you who was playing that night because Sonic Youth's here. Oh, Michael Stipe is here. Oh, the Replacements are here. Oh, Demi Moore is here. Oh, Sylvester Stallone is here.
It's like your worst nightmare. But you're right. It was like that. But that was really, I mean, depending on how you look at it, that was really fun. Like it just felt navigable, if that's the word.
Walkable.
It was walkable. It was a good playground.
From Capitol Hill to downtown. Yeah. You could walk from Queen Anne to downtown. I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah. I mean, the metro was still, I think, free downtown then. So you get on the bus and you could ride it for free.
Yeah.
Or you game the system because you knew where that was still when you could get on or get off and they would charge you, I think, differently.
Yeah. Right at a certain point, yes.
And so you knew, you're like, I can ride through here until they switch it and then it's free to get off the bus.
Queen Anne Hill, you could take the monorail into town.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to take the monorail to work. It was ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah. We've moved backwards somehow in transportation quite significantly.
I gotta say, I feel very, very lucky to have experienced Seattle at that time. Like I got to explore the city, do art, meet amazing people comfortably. I mean, it came with all the angst of that age or whatever, but in terms of experience, I would much rather have my experience than whatever the 20-year-olds are experiencing today. But that's me, right? Like people are interested in they're doing and how life is different. So it's kind of a moot point, but
especially right now, it's like my
they have the internet, so we didn't have the internet at the time, but it's just ripe for possibilities, and that's a great feeling. Mm-hmm. That's a feeling I love.
No. I mean, I was talking to some younger people that were trying to bring back the word yuppie. Mm-hmm. And I was going, well, but no one's young and no one's upwardly mobile. And going, oh, well, you should come down to, Lake Washington. And going, no, you don't understand. A third of the world is out of work. We're in jello. We're frozen right now. There is no mobility. There's no upward mobility at all. Yes, the people we could complain about are going to make money off of this. But as far as a world that's open to young people that want to invest in being greedy, like a caterpillar. A young caterpillar don't got a chance in this world.
A young caterpillar ain't got no chance.
That's definitely gamed against.
That's okay. Caterpillars eat a lot, and they turn into cocoons, and they turn into butterflies. It's all good.
Well,
nothing wrong with a caterpillar, but it's
maybe they just need to learn an old lesson, like a new lesson. Like, why do you want all that crap? Why don't you start making some cool shit? You don't need anything to do that. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's a whole new paradigm they need to reacquaint themselves with that is awesome.
Yeah, but see, that sounds like tired old hippie shit to me. That doesn't sound new.
I would
1964
never
to me.
consider myself hippie ever in my lifetime.
Man,
Like,
you don't need that shit, man.
I know.
You don't need this stuff, man. What are you wasting your time for, man?
But
I can do something real while you're on the
unfortunately,
planet, breathing air with 2 feet on the ground, man.
you sound like Mark Maron right now.
Oh, sorry. I'm starting to sound like Dennis Hopper, but that's good.
Oh, either one. I love it. Either one. But you know what? As much as like we may knee jerk hate it, I'm like so I'm 53, right? I'm like, oh crap, a lot of this is true. Like, like call it what you will. I'm like, oh, revisiting like simple pleasures and whatever actually seems pretty right. Like, post experiences, like.
I don't believe in anything, and I hate when the Bible starts to make sense. But when I see these, nutcases with no masks running around harassing hospitals, breathing in each other's air and all this, this wasn't the book of Revelations, but they were Jews, and they disappeared underneath Mount Sinai to await the tribulation.
Right.
It's like there is this giant part of the population that's removing itself right now. That was in Revelations, and I barely read the Bible, but I can tell you that happened. So I to see these shapes move around. I'm like, damn, Bible true.
Well, it's just the history repeats itself. The Bible.
Oh my God.
Probably some of those stories were predictive.
Prophecy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Funny. I was listening to Split Ends History Never Repeats. That's funny this morning. Okay, so that's sidebar. Okay, well, let's get back to your history and stories because there's so much I want to talk about too, like Pigeon Head. And so you're there. So, while you're there, like you've produced like Nirvana, Soundgarden, Mudhoney, like who
Even
else?
More Screaming Trees, Beat Happening, most of the Unwound records, the Gits, just locally. But there's a lot of, I could keep naming the local stuff till we get into details nobody knows. But that was the point, is that because I made records for these bands when they were just starting out, and that the bands went on to be promising commercially, that's how I got a manager and I started doing the big deal work. And that's the first time I found out I couldn't work for Kerry Ackery because you were potentially going to make so much money for A&M Records.
Yeah, and we saw how that worked out.
By the way, this is not video, but I'm flipping off A&M Records right here. Herb Alpert.
Some would say I did that to myself, but the thing that young people aren't taught, or some people know, I'd give more ambitious, I guess you'd call them smarter, I don't know. I wasn't raised, I don't know, I just didn't know, or I certainly was, I don't know what I wasn't. But when Hammerbox was on A&M, we had a 2-record deal. And when I left Hammerbox, I could have been, I think, a lot more business savvy and gotten a lawyer and a manager and worked the crap out of that. But I didn't. I just went on my own to LA and was like, hi, everybody, and that business doesn't wait for that kind of thing. It's business. Well, and I would say
they eat people like you and Mark Lanigan up for breakfast. They just see.
Oh God, yeah.
That's their whole business model. It seems like, is to just get the talent,
we got
chew
this.
them up, throw them away.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. It's imperative to have the business team around you. And we were told that, but at 23, I didn't have like the fortitude that I'd say other artists did, like Lady Gaga or somebody, or even dare I say Courtney Love, but they were smart enough to know, like, it's a fucking business and I want this. So I'm going to go fight and I'm going to get the things I need. But that's, and I went for years as time went on, the managers who were great either got busy with their multi-billionaire bands or they burn out. So I felt like every time I went down a road of looking for a manager, someone's like, yeah, I quit, or I can't help you, I'm busy, or whatever. And so it was frustrating. It was very frustrating. And you don't feel like as an artist, I didn't feel like as an artist that like I had bad timing. I think David Anderle was literally retiring. He was our advocate. The person who had A&R person who had signed us had gotten let go. Like there was no one in the corner to be like, I'm sorry, what was your name again? Like you're an art, you know what I mean? You were so disposable.
For the kids listening, A&R's leaving is the kiss of death for anybody. The A&R is the person that brought you into the label. The A&R is the person that translates you to the label, and so when the A&R gets a better job, which good A&Rs always get a better job, then you're alone, and all of a sudden you're in somebody's family and you don't belong there.
And they don't care, and they will toss you on the street.
Well, and they just have a lot of great questions like, how did you get here? Refreshing the memory.
Yeah. Terrifying. As an artist, it's terrifying because you're literally feeling the ground dissolve under your feet. And you realize you're like, oh, it's just a matter of time and I'm done, or we'll be drowning soon. You know what I mean? Like I'm off the island.
A useless story where I'm not going to name names because I still work in this business, but I did a record for a band that was very, very promising and should have been huge. And they had a very important A&R, and the junkie guitar player in the band said, okay, we're going to sign with your label, the big label, promised me. But if you fucking leave, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to find you, and I'm going to fucking kill you. And, of course, that guy just became a heroin addict and got kicked out of the band, and the A&R left. You know?
You
and
just can't stop the wave. Yeah.
And I could say the name of the band, and everybody would say who. So it doesn't matter. But the point of it is that, like, that's a real life scenario. Is the A&R guy, you know, the A&R men that are on the side of the band don't last.
It's pretty regular. You're right. It's pretty regular. Like that wouldn't be the thing I'd rely on. I would rely on a lawyer and a really good manager.
Well, and work with A&R people, you know, but understand that's what they do. Of course, we're talking about like there's a music industry. There isn't a music industry.
This is in the late 80s, right? 90s. Yeah. So it was, and like you just said, you're like, at some point the landscape changed and got huge, right? The whole grunge era, bands, you know, a handful of bands got huge, you know, like Nirvana and Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. They were entering levels of popularity that were gigantic. Like the whole landscape exploded, you know, and I don't really want to go into the whole grunge era, but it changes how you had to do business, right? You had to get a manager and all of that. And I love talking about your path because then there's like, it's huge, right? But it is long distance running in music, right? Because it doesn't necessarily for a time that ends too. And then something else happens. But you were doing all of that huge work. And then when did Pigeon Head start? So like you're not only producing, but then you have your own musical works as well.
Well, here's that's a simple mathematical equation.
What does that mean?
I've told the story so many times I can break it down to 5 seconds.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I don't apologize because it doesn't make any sense. But back when I didn't care about, let's say back when I didn't really have an understanding about how things worked, I was having a grand time sampling things and making music out of it in 1980, 81, 82. Mm-hmm. I did that in a living room. I didn't have a sampler. I had tape machines. I cut tape loops where other people would be making loops inside a sampler. And I'm expecting it to all get taken down. But you can find it. It's all on Spotify because I made a bunch of cassette compilations. Calvin made a compilation of the cassette compilations. And
nice.
Through Strictly Canadian, that all got published on Spotify. So you can't find anything else I've done except for the Soundgarden remixes and one Pell Mell record, and then all this screwy sampler-intensive crazy shit on Spotify. So I look like the coolest guy in the world. Like, man, he's driven and he made all this weird shit. Well, nothing. He hasn't done anything, you know. So
we're gonna have links to that, by the way. We're gonna
we should have links. It's called Over and Through the Night, and just to talk about myself, there was a concept going on here where the first record was Kiss This Day Goodbye, and then the next record was Over and Through the Night, and then the next record was Till the Night Closes In, and then 448 Deathless Days. So they were alternating day, nights, and also quoting horrible pop songs at the same time. Terrible pop songs, you know.
When you said Till the Night Rolls, I was like, oh, I know that song.
Yeah. Well, I know that song because I sampled The Minister.
Oh, no.
Young people, listen to that song. I'm going to kiss you all over and over again. I'm going to kiss you all over till the night closes in. Till the night closes in. You know, it's so libidinous and terrible. It's okay, that's going on the record, you know. So anyway.
Boom.
But anyway, let's cut away real quick. So I have this lost career in copyright infringement, and And Bruce Pavitt tried to make a Jesse Bernstein record by having Jesse play at a prison, and it didn't really work out the way they thought it would. So they asked me to do some settings for some of his poetry, and that became the Prison record.
Oh, wow.
And
people need to know about Jesse Bernstein as well.
Jesse Bernstein, God, yeah.
We'll put links to all of that too. There's going to be basically a library of things people could go down rabbit holes.
There's now a Jesse Bernstein. There's now a Jesse Bernstein archive at the U where you can go and see his written work up there.
That's great.
A wonderful punk rock archivist, which we have wonderful punk rock librarians and archivists making all of this happen while we're doing podcasts and everything else.
Yeah,
punk rockers have day jobs out there administering media all over America. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank goodness, yeah.
Yes, but Bernstein, in a sense, was Seattle's William Burroughs, was Seattle's Bukowski, and he opened for lots of rock shows, so he's big friends in the rock community. He would read his Blood and Guts poetry, blah, 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 blah. So I got to produce, in the biggest sense, in a Hal Wilner sense, we just lost Hal recently, I got to produce a record, and that every single thing on there was something that I put together because Jesse was dead, and I was finishing the record after he passed. The point is that I'd already done demos with Sean Smith before that, where Sean, was programming everything and didn't really know what I was good at. Mm-hmm. Once he'd heard the Bernstein record, he said, "Oh, fuck, you're good at making beats." I'm Sean Smith. And Jonathan was involved in that too. Jonathan actually introduced us to each other based on all this shit. So we made, with the Jesse Bernstein as a point of inspiration, with the Prison record, we went off to make the first Pigeon Head record.
Do you know what we should?
With a lot of other inspirations as well, but that was kind of my role in Pigeon Head. I was the guy that was going to make cool drums and.
Isn't there a link to a poster of how everyone's connected to everyone in the grunge era? Like, I swear to God, there is. And I was like, we should post that. Wasn't there?
Yeah,
like,
it became useless years ago.
Yeah.
Did it? Well, I just think with like Sean Smith.
In the Old Testament, it became useless years ago.
Well, just to like emphasize, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, Sean Smith had already been working with what he was in, because he knew Stone Gossard and all those guys, Regan and all those guys. Had they had Satchel already? Or they've been in bands together?
Satchel was originally Bliss. And that was what?
Little Baby.
Saying hi to someone in the background.
Oh, no. Do you want to say hi?
Not to derail.
Baby.
But there's a little short person.
He just took a bath and he had a rough time.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, baby. That's Steve's grandson. He brought us a bowl of crust.
Looks like some cars.
We got a duck.
Oh, a duck.
Ooh.
And a duck that he saved from an alligator that was biting its head off.
Nice.
I love it.
I'm a big fan of the dinosaur shirt there.
And then we got a truck.
Ooh.
And another duck. It's all wet. This has got soap on it still.
Yeah. Look at this.
And then this one's dripping water. That's very nice.
Cars work better.
You got good stuff. He's got good stuff there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a lot of cars. But
Very
he's got
nice.
trucks. What kind of trucks do you like? Do you like trucks? What kind of trucks do you like, Crispin?
He's creating sculpture right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's showing off for you.
I love it.
Got a little crown on the duck.
This is when everyone really needs the visual.
Yeah.
So,
Should have recorded the video.
Out there. He just turned 2 a couple months ago.
Turned 2. Oh, 2, such a good age. So we basically got the producer and the sculptor in the room right now.
I'm the tender. I'm taking care of things.
Very nice.
Do I have something for you? Let's see.
What can I give you?
Would you like this?
Sure.
There we go.
Just don't poke an eye out. Don't fall down on it.
Yeah, why not? He's got a pipe cleaner, honey.
Things we never think about. We all fell down a lot, but
well, especially
now
the COVID thing and all of that. There's always like, oh, where's the easiest thing? Is this going to be good for the grandkid or bad for the grandkid?
Right.
Well,
we don't need to go to the hospital for any reason.
Yeah, you want to avoid the hospital these days.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
we were
about that.
talking. Yeah, I do too. I have a sidebar on that. but because I have sort of lost my mind for a while, as gals can sometimes, I think, buy too many shoes and then buy shoes that are platforms. And I'm like, the last thing you need to do is twist an ankle on these stupid shoes. Take them back.
Yeah, no, I had a familiar fracture on one leg because I was wearing wrong shoes.
Oh, man.
I dropped an SVT head because I was moving it with the wrong shoes.
Right. So note for everyone. There you go. That's your health note.
Shoes are very important.
That was how I got through the glam thing. That's how I got out of glam, is that they wouldn't let me carry anything anymore because I had those horrible shoes on. It was
fair enough.
Hard to move an SVT head around and all of that.
Good plan.
But right. Anyway,
Sean Smith.
So Sean Smith was just kind of coming into his own in Seattle. He moved to Seattle with a cassette of some demos and stuff. I'm going to close the door just to get some little audio.
Well, and Sean Smith's voice was so beautiful. We lost Sean Smith last year, which is sad, but just such a soulful voice. And so he had come. Yes, right. And where did he come from? I thought he was born in Seattle, but did he come from somewhere else? Like,
he was born up here in. Well, I don't know if he was born up here, but he lived up here as a kid, and that's where
Spokane, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he grew up in Bakersfield.
Okay.
That's right. So he was so did you meet him through Bruce? Is that what you said?
No, through Jonathan.
Jonathan. Okay, nice.
You remember Faith Henschel?
I know that name.
She was the station manager at KCMU.
I'm sure. I know.
She worked for Elektra in the 90s and was one of those original wave of kind of indie administrative people that got sucked into major label jobs. That was another part of the 90s, is that if your label didn't take off, you ended up with a really groovy job at a record.
Right, exactly.
I'm pretty sure Faith was at Elektra or Capitol. I'm trying to remember. But she was there for a long time, and she, I think she's working with her husband on a vineyard. And she's got
lovely
wine in Northern California that she's dealing with now, and all that. Anyway, she was the first person that that Sean met. And she's the person that gave Jonathan the tape. Nice. And mind you, this is a tape Sean had made quietly, singing into a 4-track in his bedroom. So this giant thing that Sean Smith started off as a guy playing piano.
That makes sense to me. Yeah. Totally. When did you finally guys start forming like Pigeon Head then? Was it pretty quick after that?
Well, like I said, I did the demos for him in 91.
Okay.
And so that was all buttoned up, and he actually got a deal. Development deal with CBS. Back remember CBS was going to sign Sub Pop. Do you remember that?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Kids, you can put this in your book. Actually, if you go get the book Hitmen, The Dirty Stories Inside the Music Industry, and turn to page 285 at the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little tiny notice about when Sub Pop was almost a Columbia record label instead of a Warner Brothers record label.
Whoa.
And Columbia was going to sign Sub Pop, and all the bands were going to get, this was standard. This is how major labels took over small labels. It was fine.
Right.
Sub Pop wanted to do it, but it didn't come together. But anyway, out of that, Sean got a deal doing, mainstream R&B stuff, and that never came together. And so Pigeonette happened, I guess, because Sean was just looking for things to happen, and he was playing with Regan and those two other guys in Bliss. And that became Satchel. And Bliss, I don't know. God, this is just boring.
What do you mean?
Well, this is interesting shit to me, the details I'm getting into. But because in 1991, a young band in Seattle moving to Sub Pop, getting signed to a label was already such a cliche.
Right.
That people were following Bliss around before they were even Satchel, because they knew they were going to be famous. And the singer with Jonathan Poneman, so we want to get a picture of Jonathan hanging with Sean, even though they're not on Sub Pop, but they might be on Sub Pop. We don't know yet because it's all so new. And they weren't even Satchel yet.
I think that's a really good thing to point out, that the feeling of the time was by 91, tons of bands are getting signed. I think Hammerbox was signed in
Soundgarden was signed.
Yeah.
Games were signed.
And so you're right. If people thought, "Ooh, supergroup is forming," or some group, you're like, "I'm going to follow that because that's definitely going to get." It was so prevalent.
Well, and this was, I think it was the Seattle, the Weekly or one of the newspapers. But the point of it was that they missed, they missed this whole thing happening underneath them. So this time they were going to get it. And so they hung on like a tick to Brad, not to Bliss, to find out what's going to happen with Bliss.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, see, isn't that crazy? That's crazy to me.
So well, you guys go up at a club. This guy was there and wanted to talk to him. And
oh my God, there's so much crazy frenzy. There's so much crazy frenzy going on. I think at that time as well.
It got worse.
And it got worse. Yes.
Yeah.
And then it got kind of gross and sad. But you guys put together stuff and had to this day like songs that are global. I know, Ryan, you were looking to ask some questions too around Pigeon Head.
Well, it's kind of funny because I almost regret that my introduction to Sean was through Battle Flag, which was like this huge hit. But it wasn't your guys'
hit. That's not a problem. That was our hit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great song, and it's funny because I think I heard it obviously as the remix first because I think that's how everybody heard it. Like
about 1,000 to 1. Yeah, that was what people heard. Yeah,
but I like the original now better personally. I think it's a
nice view to.
It's like it's a nicer sounding of like the lyrics at least. It's like his singing comes through so much better. It's not like this like pop song in the same sense.
Yeah.
But I think it was like a CMJ CD that I got in the mail. This is where I first heard the song, and I was like, "Oh, this song's really good."
Very lucky to have that remix. Very glad it happened. Made a lot of money for me and Sean. So when I say shitty things about the remix, it's only because there are shitty things involved in that. We don't need to get into that today.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right.
Fair enough.
Yes. Yeah. We could go down rabbit holes like this
but I'm a very, very
all
lucky
day
guy.
long.
Very, very lucky guy who met Sean. Very, very lucky guy who had Sub Pop put those records out, even though there's some grief there. Ask questions. You can ask questions. Let me talk. What do you want to know? What do you want to know? What did you want to know about Sean? What did you want to know about Pigeon Head?
Well, you were more talking about that song.
Yeah. I mean,
your intro to it.
And I guess that's basically how but then that's what led me down the rabbit hole of like learning more about what Pigeon Head and finding more Pigeon Head music, and then like learning more about like Sean's music and stuff like that. So it's just kind of it was nice that happened because it did lead down this great discovery path of like other really cool stuff.
Brad's the same way. People meet Sean through Brad, and then they find out about Satchel and all those great records.
Sure, I could see that. Yeah,
Pigeon Head, and then
all interconnected.
Well, and the solo stuff too. Lots and lots of solo stuff. Stone's got that studio down in Fremont, and Sean made a lot of music there that actually hasn't come out. So
that
might be a groovy thing moving forward. Is that there's I think a big pile of Sean music that I think he woke up every morning and started a song with somebody.
Wow.
Right.
So
that'll be so exciting.
Well, and it'd be so cool because people miss him so much. So people love Sean so much. He was just and you were talking about Seattle history. You can't talk about Seattle history without talking about Tower Records. Because who worked at Tower Records? Sean Smith worked at Tower Records. Who worked at Regan worked at Tower Records. Mike Wansley, Mike Wansley?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What?
Eastern Washington. I recorded Mike Wansley's band in '87, but he had the big hit.
I love
the and all that stuff, and then Lanigan was in the basement.
Really?
Yeah. So the connections and the interactions are just amazing. I just listened to a podcast with Lanigan, and he was going off about what a nice guy Sean Smith was. Sean Smith was always groovy to him, and I was going, where did they run into each other? Tower Records and the U.
Yes. That's what I was just going to say. I loved the UW Tower Records.
Yeah, it was the best. So many of my friends work there too. It's like it definitely was a hot spot for a long time.
Yes. Now we don't have record stores anymore.
I know.
Aw, shucks.
It's like not having good bookstores.
We'll lose when we lose that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I love a good bookstore too. Like old bookstores are places you can go get lost in, or nice. But I was going to say, like, Steve, is the first time we ever worked together was when I came in with Reggie and Ohm and Riz to do backgrounds on Glory Bound.
On Glory Bound on the second Pigeon Head record. Yeah, I think that was the first time.
I've told you the story about, for me, like that was one of the best experiences I ever had. The singing with those folks, because I love gospel. Like I do it, like everybody's got their type of music that really touches them. And not that I've sang so much gospel, but just like hearing it is always, I usually break out in tears. But singing, it was a gospel background. It was the group of us all singing to singing Glory Bound in lines that Shauna wrote. And it was so emotionally powerful to me that I almost burst into tears, but I didn't want to not look cool. So I didn't cry. But if I would have allowed my natural state, I would have probably been sobbing, just like out of love. You know what I mean? Just sort of like, because it was such a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
To have that.
There's those 2 tracks are amazing. Glory Down, Fire's Coming Down. Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it.
And so big and so like, how did it get this big? You know,
right.
how did this happen? You know, this is just gigantic. I was blown away.
Well, that's what I love about collaboration. Like, to me, it can feel like such a waste, given all the talent around then, to not collaborate. Like, just with all the kinds of talent, it's one of the best experiences and chances for beauty that's prevalent here. I mean, even to this day, but it didn't happen so often. And that's a big thing for me. I think going into the future, something I'm going to work on from that point of view, like just to have a sheer, powerful, overwhelming emotional experience with musicians is lucky, right? Like lucky and a gift. Like, I wish it happened.
When it gets recorded.
Oh, yeah. So I want to be
lucky.
Yeah. I want to be creating more. That's one of the commitments to myself I will go make those things and make those things happen for myself with other people, because selfishly I want those experiences in life in general. But like just beautiful music. So like, so after the whole grunge like thing, I mean, you've always worked. I mean, you're still doing a ton of work. Yeah. Like,
always looking to talk to people that want to work. I'm always looking to meet people. I'm always looking to stay busy. It's more like I'm a caterpillar. I'm still eating all the time. You know, I still want to keep learning new stuff and,
I mean, have you ever not been busy? Like, I don't remember a time you weren't.
There are always times when you wish you were busier. And back when there was a music industry, there was a doldrum in between November and February that was always rough to work through.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always been busy and always been working. Maybe sometimes I haven't been paid as much as I wanted to be paid.
Sure.
But like I said, that was a low priority going into it, so I can't really blame anybody for that. So yeah, I'm always working. If I'm not working, I'm not very happy. I like working.
Right.
It silences the chattering monkey,
Well, and you have new management right now, right? Like, you have new management who is an awesome, heartfelt soul person who's an artist themselves.
Yeah.
So
Steven.
what is that like to work with somebody like that? Like, so as an artist yourself, it must feel amazing. I think maybe I'm still in search of it, like to have a good manager. Like,
it's interesting. I've had, I think, 4 or 5 managers over a 25-year period.
Mm-hmm.
About one every 5 years or something. Brody is great. I mean, he takes care of the stuff that lets me just keep working on music, and he understands what I'm good at. And about half of what we're doing is working on, the Grumps and this other rapper working with Pez. So there's a couple of records where I'm working more as a programmer, as an artist and a player, and that's about half the business that I do with Brody, and it's really fun. It's really cool stuff.
That is really fun. I'm excited for the stuff that we're going to do. So
he's a great rapper. Am I allowed to say that? Brody is a really good rapper. People don't know that about him. He's kind of inside the hip hop community here in Seattle, and he's got some tracks on some things he's done and all of that. But he's actually worked harder making things happen for other people than he has for himself.
Does he love that?
I think so. Yeah.
That's a good place to come from.
And he's good at it, unlike me.
Right. Right. I mean, that's such a gift. I think I still need to talk to him. Um, but it's so funny. Like I've known you for a really long time, and having our own experiences watching the landscape change. And now we both live in Tacoma. Selfishly, I'm very like, yep, I don't need to go anywhere now. I got Steve here. I can do my own music. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to be here, and it's so great to be making music with you.
And we've got projects like you and I and Harris from Hammerbox are doing a little project. And then I'm starting to write new stuff. And it's interesting. It's been fun to talk about different ways of doing music. Like instead of doing a whole record, like doing singles, because what I've realized is like, I just want to be working, you know what I mean? Like I want to still get to record. And if the money's not there to do a whole record, I'm like, well, there isn't. And maybe the landscape kind of, it works better in this landscape to do like a single at a time. Right. So then it's like, great.
It's all over with. Everything that we knew, all the reasons for making an album is gone. All the reasons for having a band have changed, and many of them are gone. We're in a clean slate right now, and someone like you, to borrow a term from the internet, you're a long-term content provider. And it's a great place to be. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, it's a high value position.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you can do that best too when you really have a self-agreement saying, I write what I write, right? And these are my stories, and I have chosen to use music to write stories, and then I like to share them, whether or not anybody else likes them or not. Like I'm going to choose to just be me, because otherwise you can get in territory of like hoping somebody likes what you do, and that starts to dissolve the fact, it's precarious to get into that kind of mindset. I don't really care, because it's taken me a long time to solidify my reasons why. Like when I joined Hammerbox, I was 23 and things were going fast. I didn't really take the time to stop and go, how do you like this? Like, how's it working for you? Why are you doing this again? Like, why? Are you sure you like music? And so, in later years, I've actually had to stop and go, you're either going to decide you don't care and stop, like if that's true, or you need to go solidify, spend time with yourself and commit, understand and find out, do you still want to do this and why, and find your why, you know what I mean? And be honest. And so for me, I'm like, I like that I like recording. I like getting to collaborate with musicians. It is just a pleasure that I don't want to give up. I'm not going to. Like whether anybody hears it or cares or likes it or not, I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, and the real beauty of this time we're in right now is that, we all know what somebody sounds like in a room with no production, except kids nowadays. Some damn kids nowadays. And so now they're getting to see a crash course in no production. Here's the person you love, and they love you, and they're going to do a song for you in their fucking living room on Facebook, and there's no production, and you get to hear their voice, and you get to hear their mistakes, and for me, this is like this is like the last cherry on the cake, of my punk rock dystopian revolution, where all of the labels are gone, and the only people on labels are making silly pop music, which is how it should be, and the indie diaspora music is free. There's no gatekeepers. Everybody gets to do whatever they fucking want to do whenever they fucking want to do. And now, because of the shelter in place, we get to see what people look like in their fucking living rooms making music for people they give a shit about.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by like Ben Gibbard's been doing like a Facebook
Ben
stream.
Gibbard's thing is amazing,
and it's so good. Yeah. And it's just like, I love it. Like I've been enjoying it so much. I've been
talking with Ben Gibbard about his shows on YouTube, and I've been telling him about Steve Naive's shows on YouTube, which are also amazing. I interrupted you, but yes, exactly.
Yeah, I want more of that. Like, quite honestly,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what I like.
I want to see Oasis in the living room with no
Yeah.
clothes.
Oh,
You
I
know?
love that. Oh my God. I would love that.
You know?
Yes.
Because they love everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I want to see
Do
that
they even
raw
love
and just
themselves? I don't know.
I don't know if they're there yet again. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think if this connects people back to appreciating the artists, right, and their storytelling, just as
And
is.
the voice, and the fucking voice.
Yeah, right.
Like, all right. This is why
and-
it's important, because that's a singer, asshole.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I was telling somebody today. I said, and you could, Steve, you can tell me if I'm wrong. This, and Ryan, like, if this doesn't sound, I was like, in the '60s, it felt like the musicians, like Joni Mitchell, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, like Bob Dylan, like the fans of those people were really invested in the stories they were. I mean, they were singing the landscape of the times, right? You could probably say that about the grunge era too, but like people were invested in music and the stories and all that. Like it was all together, like the lives and the times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I would love to see a deeper return to that for individuals, like fans listening like that. And there's lots of fans like that. And that's out there. I guess I hope that gets stronger and stronger, or that's recognized as like artists are for their stories and they're telling you the stories and reflecting back to you like what's happening, and you can be with them, or art, maybe that art gets closer to life and we get closer to art. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess
Massey, case in point, Julia Massey.
Oh, I love her.
Any
Yeah.
of the shit she's done? Any of the live little mini podcasts, webcasts that they've done?
No.
She'll play a song and then she'll cut people's hair and then,
I love her.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to quote her right now, because one of the first things she talked about in this environment is maybe, and I was just a second ago, I was just talking about albums are over with, fuck all the, music history notes. Maybe this is the return to albums.
Oh, you know what? Someone was telling me that too. They were talking about some record and they're like, no, this is like a record. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like a whole story arc. It's nice. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And there's the live shows are never going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Live shows are always going to be a reenactment of a better day.
Right.
So so only a certain kind of people are going to want to be part of safe live shows. God bless, but that's going to have to happen. So yeah, for me, I don't know what's going to go on. I don't pretend to have a hunch, but it's wide open. Anything could happen, and I'm seeing that the people that want to support musicians and the people that like musicians, if we can't see them live, then the album becomes, all right, here's the 5 songs I wrote. Here's the 15 songs I wrote.
Right.
And in these songs, I'm going to tell a story, which is what you're talking about, because you can't help but do that if you write an album and not a series of singles. If you write an album over a period of 3 months or a year or something like that, you're going to tell a story.
Right.
Whether you're talking about yourself or whether you're talking about something, global or something like that, the personal and the political, all that stuff gets merged. If the artist has any kind of thing to bring, it can't help but be a story of the time that they live in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the album is the novel. It's like, it's the long form.
Exactly. That's a very good point. It's the novel. I talked about it. Hear that? It's the novel.
Right.
It's the modern,
Well, Steve, when you and I were working on my last record, I was like, that's how you were saying to me, like, you're making a record. Like, you look at it like a storyline, like it's a novel that you're putting out there. We don't, I think a year ago too, we were like, I don't know that anybody's listening like that. Got to be honest. Like, I don't know that anyone's going to listen like you made it. But that is what I was making, because that is what I like. And, that's what I like. And those are records I grew up on, like that, like Carole King Tapestry, or or even like Kate Bush, Hounds of Love, or that I would listen to a record like that. So that would be very exciting. And I think it's nice to hear from you guys about the things that you're seeing, because when we went to shelter in place, I disengaged from all social media. Like, I deactivated everything because I needed to for the time being. And I hope I want to find my way back to participating in that without hurting myself. And because I just I got to watch it, because I was finding what I've noticed after not having been on it now for 2 months. I have a lot of return of energy to myself, and I realized I really needed that. Like a lot of my energy was getting in a futile way strewn out there. And so, but I do love the sharing, like the band Gipper, and Julia Massey's in a band called Warren Dunes, and they are just such good energy. Like I would love to do those things too. I got to find a mentally healthy, good way to do that. Steve, I might come over to your house when we can all like be together. Maybe we have a show.
Well,
and
here's the growth industries, right? Here's the ways the money happens, right? Is what if there's some semi-intelligent mixing console that somebody figures out how to make for $200 that runs the levels properly, and if you plug in 3 mics and 2 acoustic guitars and a keyboard, you set the levels, it's going to adapt to you. You don't need compressor, you don't need reverb, you don't need automation. You just got some semi-intelligent box. So all of a sudden, these little podcasts, these little windows out here, sound good instead of sounding. So there's a growth industry there. There's opening up the bandwidth so we can send higher quality stuff or better codecs. I mean, there's all these things getting ready to happen. This simple thing we're doing right now is so cave,
right.
But it is the point that a musician in Seattle can talk to a fan in whatever, or a musician wherever can talk to a musician wherever, and they can write a song together and either send files back and forth, which was the 80s golden dream, or now it's playing in real time. Right. Jack and Dinos have got this pointed out. The one place where there isn't a lag back and forth is shortwave radio and ham radio.
Nice. Got to bring it back.
Oh, my God.
Here's my overdub facility. I've got a giant antenna. And I'm tuned in to Miami, and I'm tuned into Paris, and we're going to make a hell of a record here today. These Parisians and these drum
I love that.
Guys, whatever, So
that could be pretty cool. Yeah, I was impressed like that. I'm a big fan of the new band Superorganism, and like their whole shtick was that they did it all remotely. Like they sent each other recordings back and forth, and I was like, I still can't even part of me has a hard time wrapping my head around how hard that is to make music that way.
Yeah, well, I'm a cocksucker. Pell Mell was doing that in 1984.
Well, it's even slower then.
We need you now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to do. It's fun to do.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of hard to do. You come up with a track, you send it to somebody, they blow their nose all over it, they send it to somebody else, you pick what you need. Yeah, you're right. It is hard to do. But this is, the point is pre-digitally, Pell Mell was doing shit like this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's because we still wanted to be a band after we broke up. And one guy had an 8-track in Connecticut, and one guy had an 8-track in San Francisco, and I was in Ellensburg where we had an 8-track. So yeah, that world, that idea that everybody's been collaborating and all of that. I mean, that can still happen. I think that's an idea that people are excited about. That can happen, and it can be something cooler than another We Are the World,
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
I also think in these times, like people will let a lot more room for not perfection.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why don't you just watch the experiment in real time, and we're not going to worry about whatever. The fact that you're getting to see it at all is interesting, and then watch it evolve. As being so concerned about whether or not it sounds perfect or glossy or anything like that. Like you're getting to watch life.
Well, that's why I'm talking about how we're going to hopefully as a society learn quickly that trying to reenact live shows, live concerts, it's all going to be a reenactment. It's not going to be as good, and we don't want to spend a lot of time going it used to be better, because that's where fascism starts. Fascism is always, let's make it great again. Things used to be better. Let's take us back to the 40s when people knew their place, or whatever ugliness you want to, throw in the 40s or something like that. So for me, and I'm joining an idiotic chorus of new age monkeys out here going, anything can happen now. It's so great. Just got to stay open. Just got to keep your possibilities. Got to keep listening.
Hey, wait. That sounds like me. Get out of here.
No, because it's true. It's fucking true.
Yeah, it's the great reset. We can start anew,
Yeah, and make good shit instead of bad shit, and say goodbye to the stupid stuff, and then embrace what there was cool about what was happening before. But yeah, it's not so we can make a safe place for Sting and Puff Daddy to go hang out and cover Lead Belly or whatever would be happening for some fundraiser for musicians in 2021. It's like And what I like is all the armed robbery that's going on. Musicians have had their livelihood stolen from them with the demonetization of music, and now we've had the gigs stolen from us.
Yeah.
And Mark Zuckerberg has the nerve to come on and say, "Oh, it's terrible what's going on in the arts," and blah blah blah. And so Steve Naive and his lovely wife and a bunch of Hollywood actors says, "Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is right. Why don't you pay up?
Right.
Why don't you take a 25th of what you have and give it to the arts, asshole?"
Yeah.
Let's not go start a We Are the World concert so we can sell a record that a percentage of will go out to help the farmers. Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. You're going to complain about something? Pay up. Jeff Bezos, if you're going to say, "Oh, this is unfortunate," pay up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's about to be a trillionaire. He can afford it.
Oh my gosh.
You're not allowed to have an opinion unless you're want your place at the table. And if, you got $5 trillion in the car, then your place at the table is going to cost,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm to play with all the amateurish 3-year-old approach to economics, but that's what I'm seeing now,
Yeah. Well, it's on everybody's mind, right? Like we're saying, it could be a total reset. So we're looking at all the things. Some of it I love, like some of it I'm so glad, I'm so grateful for things that are going on. I'm certainly not happy about people passing away or being ill. But I'm pretty psyched about a reset. For me, I guess, if I'm just owning my own thing. But it'll be very interesting. I don't like, I like you mentioned, Steve, like not playing live, you know what I mean? So I do think, oh God, like when will we be able to play live? Like my band Goodness has got shows were booked for June 6th and then now we're trying to move it to October, but even October, we're trying to decide, well, that, because the rules around that could be, they can open to 50% capacity and everybody's got to sit apart. And so
it's not the same.
You want to support the business, but the band doesn't make it, you know what I mean? And then do you really want to risk gathering? I mean, is that rude to your fans having them gather or your bandmates who have kids? Yeah. Like, I don't know that that's the right thing to do. I mean, I miss playing live and I want that, but I don't want to be a part of, I don't want to be a part of something that's like, let me give you some music to feel passionate about, but y'all got sweaty and now passed it on. You know what I mean? And we're a part of the incremental rise in COVID in the fall. Like, it's really rough, but what freaks me out, like how long this will go on.
Didn't Dave Grohl just write about that too? Like, I think he just did like an article that was all about bringing back the live shows and what that means. And
yes, those are some of the rules I've heard. Like, so anyway,
I have a smarter brother.
Yeah.
He's younger than me. Pretty much. He's a statistician.
Oh.
And to hear him talk about where it's going, it's like, no.
Okay.
So first off, as old people, we've probably been robbed 5 to 10 years of our life.
Oh my God.
Even if we made it through all of this stuff, it's coming around again and it's coming around again. And if it doesn't get you when you're 65, it'll get you when you're 70. And by the way, while we're talking about ways to die, a respiratory illness is not the worst way to die. Now I sound like a Republican.
I mean, there's a lot of terrible ways.
It's not a terrible way to die. You go out and get rid of that. The thing right behind it's going to be worse. I'm an old man. I can tell you. But here's a counter to what you're saying, or a rejoinder or whatever. But like the other night, me and Anne, my wife, were watching the end of live music in Boston, and my dear friend Christian McNeil from the band Stum that I recorded in the 90s, who got signed, and I helped them fuck up their music career. God bless you, Stum. I'm so sorry, Stum, if you're listening tonight. But he did a song that was about society and compartmentalization and people living in cages. And then he said, and he does beautiful, somewhat soft Irish brogue. He's been in Boston for a long time, but he's still got a hell of a crazy accent and uses some wonderful, weird, old-fashioned words to talk about things. And so through all of that stuff, he was talking about how, oh, shit, well, here's a song that means something now, and it doesn't mean the same thing as it used to be. And I'll tear up a little bit. At the dawn of this virus thing,
Yeah.
he's still thinking about those kids
Yeah.
at the border, and they're in their fucking cages.
Yeah.
And where do they fucking go when they close their eyes? And they're
Right.
there. And they've
Yeah.
been there for how many months now? And the point is that audience crammed into that little small room started crying.
Yeah.
And me and my wife started crying.
Yeah.
And it was all happening over the internet, motherfucker.
Right.
The internet was real.
Right.
Yeah.
And a live show in Boston was a live show in Tacoma.
Right.
You know, for me and my wife.
Yeah. The
So
power is still
maybe-
there. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. But that's real feelings. Like, yes. Yes. It can still
So
connect.
maybe we have to grow as a species and learn
Yes.
to appreciate this gift that we have with the internet and all these cameras and all these speakers and all these microphones and figure out a way to use it that we like. Because right now it's kind of loose,
Right.
wonderful. But what if we said, no, I really want to hear what this fucking tube and throat singer wants to sing because his kid just died. We've been following the kid in the hospital and it's really sad. And all right, Dad's going to do the song to the tube and sing when the kid dies, you know, and,
Right.
you know, me and 26 other people get to do that on the internet. You know,
Right.
and like that, you know, I'm starting to make it morbid, starting to make it about death, but I'm starting as humanity and experiencing these things collectively, you know, fuck rock candy, fuck the crocodile.
Right.
I don't need to go in there again. You know,
Right.
I got all humanity I need right here.
I think you
I
just
get
said
all
it.
the people. I get all the love right here.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's like the best thing we've said this whole podcast. I love that. Thank you, Steve. That's what it's all about.
I've been thinking about it. People have been asking me, so I've had to come up with questions and answers. And
Yeah.
you know, I hung out with Davey C and his partner yesterday. We were talking about exactly the same conversation. You know,
Right. But this is the possible beautiful that could come out of this, like the connecting and bearing witness and, you know, being with each other that way, not being with us, like all being on social media, but not really ever being with each other, you know, as real things happen.
Getting bigger than this music, getting bigger than this phone I'm holding in my hand.
Right.
The radio audience at home.
Right.
And so the music we get on the phone and makes us happy. We put it on, we make breakfast or whatever, but it's not the music we turn to when we're lonely.
Yeah.
It's not
Yes.
the music we turn to when we're in love. It's not the music we turn to when, you know, whatever, you know. That music comes from someplace else, you know.
Right.
Yes. Well, and I got to say, during this time, one of the other things that I've reacquainted myself with too is going back and listening to music like I did when I was in high school, like going back to the music that I like. And I can't tell you I can tell you, it lifts me. Like, I love it. And that's how I used to function as a person. That used to be a great joy in my life. Prior to doing bands and knowing way too much about the business, again, like I really feel like this time is a return to self, and I have refound the music listener that I was, and it's so much fun. Like, I can't even tell you how grateful I am to be able to feel those things again, because I had felt them really lost. You know, you just get to know, you know, like I know too much and now I'm scarred, and it's like it's a chance to return to the things that are important. And I think your example, Steve, is one of those. And I think it's just so imperative. It's so important. And if we can use, you know, wherever technology is and wherever it's going to be this way, I think that'd be a gift. Like, that'd be great.
Well, and the point is that there's jobs for people to design the new interfaces. There's jobs for people to build the new interfaces. There's jobs for people to distribute the new interfaces. You know, this world doesn't have to stop.
Right.
Right.
You know, there's all kinds of things that are ready to happen here without us all just going back to restaurants and state fairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
No turkey wrapped in bacon. All right.
No cotton candy for summer. Sorry, everybody.
You might have to let that go. Well, Steve, I thank you so much for doing this. I love you so much.
You too, girl.
Yeah,
I feel
thanks.
like I feel so glad that I know you. I can't wait. I'm going to be bugging you today later about doing more like
You got to.
I got to. I'll do it.
Catch up, and just got through Julia's live record. I'm mixing this amazing record for Shane Evans, who's this just incredibly deep singer songwriter from Kansas City that Rob Knopf hooked me up with, and so I've got
Yes. Oh, I love him too.
with, and he's a children's author.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So
Shane
cool.
Evans. He's a black guy. He does books for kids that
Nice.
are the wrong color. And
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah. Oh no, he's. You know what they got in Kansas? They got motherfucking Hallmark.
Oh,
So
yes.
this guy
Oh,
came up
yeah.
through that, and now he's his own thing, and he's got a music
Yep.
career and a book career, and
Oh, cool.
I'm very happy.
Yeah,
to be
Hallmark
working
is
with-
based there. I
Yeah.
forgot. Yeah. Yes. See, so there's plenty to do. All right. So duly noted. Bug Steve Moore. I sent you a
But
song.
I want to get on it. The first thing I got to do is just take those drums and just make it more decipherable and something I can mix. That's all. It's not
Let's
going
do
to.
it.
I'll get it done next week.
Okay. I'll just
Yeah,
get
that's
more.
all here. What's the date here? I'm on testimony here.
Yep.
It'll be done next week.
May 17th. Am I right?
Yep.
May
Yeah,
17th,
it is.
Sunday. I'm going to commit to being way more annoying bugging you. And when you get mad at me, you'll be like, I just said I'd bug you.
Okay. It's a sponsored pilot. You're washing your hands at the end of the.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I got to go wash my hands, people. But I love you very much. I thank you. Thank you so much. Please say hi to Anne, and who also is an amazing artist as well. And I will talk to you soon.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and your efforts today, guys. I really appreciate it. And,
Anytime.
And I was worried if I was going to figure out some new way to tell the story because people are asking me to tell. Well, how did you? And so this is the third time I told that inside a year, and it's going.
Yeah.
God, I can't.
I
And
know.
Lanigan's got his book out now, right? So
Oh, yeah.
he's like busy giving his version of Ellensburg, and we're going like, yeah, I guess that happened.
It's all out there now. No. Well, I appreciate it.
No.
I know you've told the story 18 million times, but
Still fun
I love
story.
hearing it.
You haven't asked us. You've asked different questions. It's
Okay.
It's a good thing. I'm up for it. I'm very happy to tell my story. I'm glad anybody's even interested.
I love it. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you loved it.
Yeah. Namaste, motherfucker. Thank you.
My favorite. My favorite. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thanks,
Great
everyone.
day.
Yeah. Hey, we will, I would love to have Ryan, if it's not annoying, like that we have so many links to things that I really want to do.
Yep.
Maybe we'll compile a list and Steve will share it with you and be like,
Do we
we
miss
want to
anything?
have
Yeah.
links to all this. Do we miss anything? Like, what else do you think is interesting? We should have like links so people could go down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Put the link to the movie. The movie's brand new, even though it's from 1987. It just got released, and I'm sure
The
people.
one, you guys, the Screaming Trees and You, Advantage. Okay.
Yes, Fertilochrome. It's got a funny name, so it's Googleable. The Fertilochrome originally was the Fertilochrome Cheerleader Massacre, although
I have it in
nobody
my
dies
text.
in the film.
Yeah.
Actually, Pickerel died in the film, but it was pretend. Anyway, yeah. If
Okay.
anybody wants to see Mark Pickerel explode in a pile of gas and latex and
Well, I think-
take blood.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
can
think my
wait
husband
through
wants to
this
see
film.
that.
If you wait to the end, Mark Pickerel explodes in a latex fake blood pile, and he's very good. He sells it.
Oh my God. Him and his damn hair. All right. All right. Well, I love you both. Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day.
All
All right, you too.
Bye.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye bye.